This is Alex Mercer, and with me is my co-host, Tokyo. What you're hearing now is a transmission recorded in the calm before something extraordinary and terrifying. For weeks, global weather satellites have been detecting patterns no one can explain. Across every hemisphere, electrical readings are climbing beyond predicted limits. Instruments that once measured calm, predictable pulses from the upper atmosphere are now showing violent fluctuations, the kind that usually accompany solar storms. But the sun has been quiet. That means whatever is charging above us, it's coming from the Earth itself.
It began subtly, static on shortwave bands, whispers of interference that came and went with no pattern. Then, aviation radios started to fail mid-flight. Pilots over the Pacific reported ghost signals, bursts of white noise that seemed to hum with rhythm. Within days, entire communication networks began to flicker like candlelight. The data streams weren't just distorted, they were being drowned in a strange electromagnetic pulse, pulsing every 8 seconds. Scientists called it a heartbeat anomaly. But as days passed, the pulse grew stronger, faster, alive.
Auroras began to appear where they shouldn't exist, not at the poles, but near the equator. Over cities like Nairobi, Bangkok, and Rio de Janeiro, people looked up to see curtains of green and violet light rippling across the night. The beauty was mesmerizing, but behind the glow, instruments were failing. Power lines overloaded with static current, GPS satellites drifted out of position, and entire weather systems began to twist unpredictably. It wasn't just another storm season. It was as if the planet's electrical balance, the very system that stabilizes our sky, had slipped out of sync.
Across research stations, the warnings grew louder. In Hawaii, atmospheric physicists detected plasma surges 40 kilometers above the surface. Plasma so dense, it reflected radar signals like a mirror. In Norway, scientists at the IceCat Observatory described the readings as ghost lightning, flashes forming in the upper atmosphere without any thunderclouds below. Meanwhile, at the Arecibo array in Puerto Rico, a strange hum began to interfere with deep space communication bands. The sound repeated at perfect intervals, a frequency that seemed deliberate.
Governments began to notice. Agencies quietly issued internal memos about possible upper atmosphere instability. Weather satellites were temporarily recalibrated to avoid system overloads, and while officials assured the public there was no immediate danger, behind the scenes, panic was building. The upper atmosphere, once the calmest part of our skies, had become an electrical ocean. The currents were shifting, and something colossal was forming in the silence between lightning and thunder.
On the ground, the signs became impossible to ignore. Radios buzzed even when turned off. Streetlights flickered under clear skies. Fishermen off the coast of Chile reported that the ocean surface glowed faintly blue, as if lightning were trapped beneath the waves. In the deserts of Saudi Arabia, sandstorms began to spark with static arcs, glowing briefly before vanishing into the wind. Something was charging the air itself, and the world could feel it, a static weight pressing down, humming with unseen energy.
And then, the satellites started to die. One by one, low-orbit observation arrays went offline. Not from collision, not from power failure, but from what NASA described as electrical overloads beyond protective capacity. The last transmission from the GOE's 19 satellite showed a pulse of white light covering half the Pacific, bright enough to saturate every sensor. Whatever it wasn't localized. The sky itself was turning into a superconductor.
That's when the scientific community started whispering a phrase that hadn't been used since the 1980s. Superstorm potential. But even then, no one understood what that could mean. A thunderstorm on a planetary scale, an electric imbalance so powerful it could disrupt magnetic fields. The equations didn't fit. The models couldn't predict it. All they knew was that energy was building high above the troposphere, collecting in invisible layers of ionized gas. Something massive was gathering charge, waiting for the spark.
And now, we wait. The clouds that cover our world tonight aren't just made of water and dust. They're saturated with potential. Lightning without thunder, storms without rain. The air itself is becoming a conductor, and every heartbeat of the planet seems to echo louder through the static. The question haunting every scientist, every radio operator, every sleepless civilian staring at the electric sky is the same. What happens when the charge is finally released?
For now, all we can do is listen. The hum above us isn't just weather, it's the prelude to something the planet hasn't seen in millennia. Something ancient, something alive. The atmosphere is holding its breath, and when it exhales, the world will remember what true power looks like.
What began as static in the atmosphere has now become something far more dangerous. For the first time in recorded history, the jet stream, that vast river of air that circles the planet, has fractured. Meteorologists describe it as splintering, creating massive spirals of turbulent wind that are pulling the upper atmosphere downward. These spirals act like colossal generators, grinding against layers of charged plasma that shouldn't even exist this low. The result? A continuous electric potential across entire continents. The sky itself is primed for detonation.
At first, the lightning strikes came irregularly, scattered, unpredictable. But then a pattern emerged, a heartbeat rhythm, just like the earlier pulse in the satellite data. Every 10 minutes, across multiple continents, the atmosphere released synchronized flashes of energy. Not one or two bolts, but thousands. From space, astronauts described it as a glowing web of light stretching from horizon to horizon. And at the center of that web was the Pacific Ocean. Something vast was forming there, something the world's instruments could barely track before they were fried by the overload.
The Pacific became a mirror of chaos. Weather stations from Hawaii to Manila recorded atmospheric pressure so erratic it broke instruments calibrated for hurricanes. Clouds rose in towering columns, 20 kilometers high, glowing with constant electrical discharge. Pilots called it the pillar sky, a place where the storm seemed alive, where lightning crawled horizontally across the clouds like veins, the air ionized so heavily that radar could no longer see through it. All that was left were the flashes, blinding, rhythmic, unending.
In Tokyo, power grids began to fail one district at a time, not from overload, but from induction. The electromagnetic field surrounding the storm was so strong, it began generating current directly inside the city's transformers. Lights surged brighter than ever before, then died all at once. Within hours, the skyline of one of the world's most advanced cities vanished into darkness. And yet, the sky above it blazed like day. Witnesses said the clouds were so bright it looked like the heavens had cracked open.
The storm had entered a phase scientists never imagined possible. Self-sustaining convection. Normally, storms need heat from the ground to rise, but this one was feeding on electricity itself. The more it discharged, the stronger it became. It was no longer a weather system. It was an organism, pulsing with raw energy, feeding off the planet's own electric field. Instruments in Chile, China, and Alaska all detected the same signature. Electromagnetic resonance echoing through the atmosphere, as if the entire planet had become part of a single, living circuit.
And then came the sound. Across the Pacific, coastal towns began hearing a deep, rhythmic vibration, too low for the ear, but strong enough to shake windows and make metal structures hum. Scientists called it the resonance tone. It wasn't thunder, it was the frequency of the superstorm itself, a vibration generated by billions of simultaneous lightning discharges. The ocean beneath the storm began to glow, phosphorescent blue as if charged by the heavens. Even underwater cables, fiber lines buried beneath the seabed, started to melt.
Governments across the world issued simultaneous emergency alerts. Aircraft were grounded, power grids shut down, and coastal evacuation orders went out as electromagnetic surges began interfering with navigation systems. For the first time in human history, the entire sky was declared a no-fly zone. But for some, it was already too late. Satellite imagery captured something no one had ever seen before. A single, continuous lightning arc stretching nearly 600 miles across open ocean. It stayed illuminated for a full 19 seconds. The energy released in that one strike was equivalent to a small nuclear blast.
People across Asia, the Americas, and Oceania began to witness strange phenomena. Hair standing on end in dry air, static dancing across cars, fences, even water. Some reported glowing shapes in the night sky, not lightning, but massive circular forms, like halos, spinning above the storm's core. Scientists confirmed they were real, sprites, enormous plasma discharges that stretch into space. The superstorm was now punching through the stratosphere, touching the edge of the ionosphere. The Earth's weather system was no longer bound to Earth.
The lightning towers, as they were called, became visible from orbit. Each one a colossal column of electric energy connecting the surface to the heavens. They weren't random. They aligned along fault lines, volcano chains, and tectonic boundaries. It was as if the storm itself was feeding on the planet's weaknesses, using the magnetic field as a map. NASA and ESA jointly confirmed what no one wanted to believe. The storm wasn't confined to one hemisphere. It was wrapping around the planet, forming a continuous electric belt around the equator. The Earth was now inside the storm.
By the third day, the skies never went dark again. Night vanished, replaced by a flickering twilight of endless lightning. The temperature rose by nearly 10 degrees in some regions, while others froze under sudden atmospheric inversions. Weather as we knew it was gone. Cities burned without flame, technology shorted out without warning, and oceans boiled with plasma arcs that danced across the waves. People described it as the storm that breathed. Every discharge echoed like a heartbeat through the atmosphere, and with each pulse, the magnetic poles shifted slightly more.
And yet, in the chaos, there was order. The frequencies of the lightning strikes were not random. They pulsed in intervals, symmetrical, repeating, structured. Some scientists began to speculate that the storm was following a pattern, perhaps responding to natural magnetic feedback, or something deeper. It wasn't just nature spiraling out of control. It was evolution. A new phase in Earth's electrical life. A planetary heartbeat awakening after 1 million years of sleep.
The last surviving satellites orbiting above the atmosphere sent one final image before the superstorm's radiation blinded their senses. A massive, spiraling cyclone the size of a continent, with a glowing electric eye at its center. Within that eye, lightning never stopped. It coiled in on itself, feeding energy back into the system, endlessly regenerating. The scientists who saw it called it the birth of the superstorm. The world called it something else, the beginning of forever thunder.
And now, the planet waits beneath a ceiling of light. Communication is gone, navigation impossible, and the air itself vibrates with power. Humanity stands in the shadow of its own sky, watching as nature's oldest force reclaims dominion. The storm is no longer an anomaly. It's the atmosphere's new reality. This is not the end of a cycle. It's the rebirth of one. It has been 12 days since the storm's birth. The planet is now locked beneath a dome of perpetual lightning, a ceiling of light that pulses, breathes, and hums. Daylight and darkness have fused into one long electric dusk. There are no stars anymore, no constellations to guide the night. Only the flicker of plasma veins crawling across the clouds, like living nerves stretched over the sky. In every direction, the world glows faintly blue, the color of ionized air. The Earth has entered a new age, the electric era.
Here, inside the broadcast room, the lights never turn off. Not because we keep them on, but because the storm outside never fades. Through the reinforced windows, the horizon flashes every few seconds, bathing the city ruins in ghost-white light. It feels less like thunder now, and more like a heartbeat, the pulse of something vast and aware. People have started calling it the sky that never sleeps. And in that endless illumination, time itself seems to dissolve. Hours, days and nights blur together into one long electric dream.
The scientists who remain have retreated underground, into magnetic shielded bunkers. The electromagnetic radiation above ground has grown too strong for most electronic systems to survive. Old analog equipment, like the one we're using now, has become humanity's last link to the surface. Digital signals collapse instantly, melted by the storm's static. Even the internet, the vast web that once connected billions, has fallen silent. What remains are scattered radio frequencies, whispering through the noise, the last heartbeat of global communication.
But even here, the air hums. You can hear the electricity, a low, constant hiss, like breathing. Every metallic surface glows faintly at the edges. The Earth's surface is alive with static. In the far north, auroras have descended to ground level, wrapping forests in curtains of green fire. In the deserts, sandstorms have turned into glass storms, each grain fused by plasma arcs. The skies over Africa flash so bright that shadows appear in opposite directions. It's beautiful and unbearable. The storm is not dying, it's evolving.
Satellite data, what little survives, shows something impossible. The storm isn't random. Its electrical pathways trace directly over tectonic lines, fault zones, and volcanic ridges. It's as if the lightning has learned the blueprint of the planet, mapping it in pure energy. Each discharge sends vibrations deep into the mantle. Seismologists believe the Earth's crust is now responding, resonating, to the rhythm of the storm. The planet, once ruled by molten rock, now dances to an electric pulse.
And there's something else, something darker. The upper atmosphere, once calm and cold, has begun to ionize continuously. This constant charge is altering the chemistry of the air itself. Ozone concentrations are spiking. The blue glow that once belonged only to auroras now covers entire continents. In cities like Sao Paulo and Manila, survivors report an eerie silence before each major lightning burst, as if the entire atmosphere holds its breath. Birds no longer fly. Animals stay underground. It's as if all living things have learned to fear the sky.
Yet amid the chaos, patterns of survival are emerging. Underground cities, old subway networks, tunnels, and basements have become sanctuaries. Humans are adapting to the electric age in ways we never imagined. Manual generators, hand crank radios, even candles, tools from a forgotten past, are now keeping us alive. In some regions, engineers have started building Faraday colonies, massive shielded domes designed to repel the electromagnetic surge. They say the future of civilization will be built not in light, but beneath it.
Outside, the ocean burns, not with fire, but with light. Bioluminescent organisms reacting to the constant electrical charge. Some fishermen call it the Sea of Ghosts. You can see it from the cliffs, an entire ocean glowing like molten glass. But the storms above churn the surface so violently that no ship dares to sail. Coastal cities have become memory, drowned beneath rain that falls as liquid fire. Every drop carries a static spark. It's like the planet has turned its atmosphere into a living battery, charging itself endlessly.
And what if that's exactly what's happening? Some scientists now theorize that this isn't just a storm. It's an atmospheric feedback loop. The Earth is rebuilding its electric balance after centuries of human interference. Lightning, once a natural regulator of charge, has accelerated beyond equilibrium. In simple terms, the planet is rebooting, resetting its electric field. The cost? Civilization as we knew it.
There are whispers, among those still transmitting, of strange lights seen above the clouds. Circular, geometric, moving against the wind. Not satellites, not aircraft. Some believe the Superstorm has awakened something ancient, natural plasma structures that existed long before recorded history. Others say it's just hallucinations, tricks of the ionized air. But those who've seen them swear they felt something watching back, as if the storm itself had eyes.
The longer the storm lasts, the more synchronized its rhythm becomes. Every 6 hours, across every continent, the lightning pulse intensifies. Identical timing, identical frequency. Some call it coincidence. Others call it communication. Whatever it is, humanity has become the audience to a sky performing its own symphony. Thunder as percussion, plasma as light, the earth as the instrument. We used to think storms were chaos, but this feels like order.
Order born from ruin. Every night, if you can call it night, we stand beneath the endless glow and listen. The air vibrates through bone and metal alike. Some people have stopped speaking entirely. They just listen. It's as if the world has gone quiet to hear what the sky is saying. Maybe this is nature's language, the dialogue of energy we were never meant to understand.
This is Alex Mercer, broadcasting through analog waves that somehow still cut through the static. For those who can still hear me, hold on. The storm has taken our stars, our networks, our sky, but not our voice. As long as these signals echo, we are proof that the Earth still remembers its children.
This is Tokyo. If you're out there listening, know that you're not alone. Somewhere above these clouds, lightning still carves its name into the dark, and somewhere below, we still whisper it back. The storm may never sleep, but neither will hope.
It began 40 minutes ago. Not with rain, not with wind, but with silence. A silence so complete it felt deliberate. Across the globe, every monitoring station went quiet at once. Then, in the span of seconds, power grids failed in over 30 nations. Entire skylines blinked out like dying stars. From New York to Tokyo, from Johannesburg to Sydney, the planet exhaled, and the lights went out.
And then came the flash. Not lightning as we know it, not the quick flicker of a storm, but a pulse so bright it lit the entire night hemisphere like dawn. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station described it as a second sun rising from the clouds. From orbit, it wasn't a strike, it was a network, a spiderweb of plasma arcing across oceans and continents, connecting thunderheads thousands of kilometers apart. For a few brief moments, the entire planet was wrapped in light, and then the thunder began.
Continuous. Relentless. The sound didn't roll and fade. It roared, unbroken. A single, endless growl from horizon to horizon. Instruments are calling it resonant thunder, a phenomenon never recorded before. The shock waves are circling the Earth again and again, overlapping until even the air itself seems to vibrate with rage. Microphones in Europe picked up the echo 30 minutes after the first flash. It hasn't stopped since. Every mountain, every sea, every valley is trembling with the sound of Skyfire.
Up above, the atmosphere has turned to glass. The ionosphere, the invisible shell of charged particles that shields us from solar radiation, has ignited into a brilliant curtain of light. It's not just lightning anymore, it's plasma. Sheets of energy hundreds of kilometers wide ripple through the clouds, painting the heavens in white and violet fire. The storm has fused itself into the upper atmosphere, feeding on the very magnetism that holds our planet together. It's beautiful, terrifying, infinite.
We're getting reports that aircraft across Asia and the Americas have been forced to ground mid-flight. Pilots describe electrical interference so severe, flight controls lock up without warning. Some aircraft diverted to emergency landings. Others vanished from radar entirely. No explosions, no debris. Just silence, as if they were swallowed by the light. On the ground, every airport has gone dark. Control towers operate on backup power, but even analog systems are failing. It's as though the storm isn't attacking machines. It's rewriting how electricity behaves.
In major cities, chaos is spreading faster than news can travel. Communication satellites have gone dark, power stations have melted under overload, and the world's grid, something that took a century to build, collapsed in minutes. And yet, amid the destruction, there's something mesmerizing about it. From every coast, from mountaintops and rooftops, millions of people are standing in silence, watching the sky burn. For the first time in history, humanity is united by one sight, a ceiling of light so vast it feels divine.
From orbit, the Earth now glows like a lantern. Satellite imagery, before the final blackout, showed plasma storms stretching from the Pacific Rim to the Arctic Circle. The storm's reach isn't atmospheric anymore. It's planetary. Even the ocean reflects the lightning, each wave shimmering with ghostly illumination. To those below, it feels as if the sea itself has caught fire, a living mirror of the storm above. The world has never been brighter and never felt darker.
Here in the control room, our power levels are dropping. Static bursts crackle through every frequency. The air smells faintly of ozone and metal. Each time the thunder peaks, our instruments spike into red, warning us that the electromagnetic field outside is still growing. What's strange, what no one can explain, is that the lightning isn't random anymore. It's moving in patterns, circular, geometric, perfect synchronization over thousands of kilometers. It's as if the storm has found rhythm, like it's breathing.
NASA's last broadcast, before their uplink failed, reported something impossible. The storm is generating its own magnetic field. For the first time in recorded history, the planet has two magnetic poles, one deep within the Earth, and another forming in the upper atmosphere. Between them, lightning flows continuously, bridging sky and soil like a planetary circuit. The energy output is beyond any nuclear event. Beyond solar storms, this is Earth itself turning into a generator. We are standing inside the planet's awakening.
Power lines explode like veins of light. Transformer stations erupt into fountains of sparks. Rivers shimmer under the electric haze. Every surface carries a charge. Even raindrops glow faintly blue as they fall. Scientists once said lightning struck the planet 8 million times a day. Tonight it's one unbroken discharge, wrapping the world in fire. And beneath that brilliance, civilization flickers like a candle in the wind.
This is no longer weather. It's transformation. Atmospheric plasma has reached densities never recorded in human history. The sky has become an engine of pure energy. The air itself hums with a frequency felt in bone, in glass, in metal. It resonates through everything. We used to think of the atmosphere as a shield, a fragile layer of protection. But tonight, it's a weapon, one forged by nature itself.
Every few minutes, a new surge sweeps across the horizon, each brighter than the last. The clouds no longer roll, they spiral, forming vast luminous vortexes visible from orbit. Thunder rolls like a choir, harmonizing with the Earth's electromagnetic hum. Some call it judgment, others call it renewal. Whatever it is, the storm has rewritten the laws of sky and silence, and we are left to listen.
The air outside glows like dawn now. Every shadow dances, every surface reflects the storm's pulse. The power of creation and destruction intertwined above us. It's not just lightning, it's Skyfire, and it has begun. The last 48 hours have reshaped civilization. The event now being called Skyfire has triggered a planetary blackout unlike anything in recorded history. What began as a storm has become a force of nature that feeds on our infrastructure, absorbing, disrupting, and amplifying everything we once used to control power. Across entire continents, grids have collapsed. Transformers have vaporized. Cities once glowing with neon and life now rest beneath a shroud of electric silence.
Everywhere, the pattern is the same. Power plants overloaded within seconds. The surge raced through transmission lines faster than safety systems could react. The first explosions hit coastal reactors, then hydroelectric dams, gas turbines, even solar arrays. Engineers say it wasn't just a power failure, it was an attack. Not by man, but by the planet itself. An electromagnetic pulse so immense it travelled through the crust like blood through veins, shorting everything it touched. From Los Angeles to Beijing, the world has gone dark.
We're receiving field reports through shortwave radio, the only surviving medium. In Europe, emergency teams describe seeing transformers bursting into plasma, glowing blue and gold as they melt. In North America, entire substations have been reduced to molten metal, their circuits fused like candle wax. No communication, no satellites, no global coordination. Every government agency, every military command has gone silent. The storm didn't just take the sky. It's feeding on the Earth itself.
For days, scientists have debated what's happening, but the conclusion now seems undeniable. The storm isn't drawing its power from moisture or wind. It's feeding directly from the magnetic field. Imagine a predator finding the pulse of its prey. That's what this storm has done. The Earth's magnetic shield, once our greatest protection, is now its energy source. The stronger it feeds, the weaker our defenses become. And the weaker our defenses, the deeper the darkness spreads.
We have with us a recorded transmission from Dr. Elias Carter, senior geophysicist from the Royal Observatory in Edinburgh. His message was received an hour before his line went dead. The field is oscillating faster than any model can predict. It's as if the magnetic poles are pulsing, breathing in sync with the storm. We've measured a total magnetic deviation of nearly 4 degrees in under 24 hours. That kind of movement should take millennia. The storm isn't responding to the planet. The planet is responding to it.
That pulse Dr. Carter mentioned, it's not theoretical. Across the world, compasses spin uncontrollably. The north no longer points north. The auroras once confined to the poles have descended to the tropics, wrapping entire continents in green fire. The magnetic field lines are collapsing and reforming in waves. With each surge, the lightning intensifies. The storm is self-sustaining now, a living organism feeding from the electromagnetic heartbeat of the Earth.
Dr. Yara Ishimura, head of the Tokyo Plasma Observatory, managed to send one last report before her instruments fried. We've analyzed the ionospheric data. The energy isn't dissipating, it's amplifying. It's looping back through the magnetosphere like a feedback circuit. In simple terms, the Earth has become its own generator. The lightning above is the exhaust of something far deeper, an energy cycle that no longer needs the sun. Her message ended there. The observatory's last image showed a single bolt of white light descending over Mount Fuji, branching across the horizon like the veins of a burning leaf.
On the ground, survivors described the blackout as something more than just the loss of light. It's the loss of time. Cities trapped in endless twilight, the air thick with static, and the distant rumble of thunder that never fades. Hospitals operate on candlelight and battery packs. Refrigeration has failed. Water systems have collapsed. Entire metropolises are retreating into a pre-electric age. And yet, even in the darkness, the sky never truly goes black. It glows faintly, alive, as if mocking the silence below.
Governments are gone, replaced by voices. Scientists, engineers, survivors, all trying to make sense of the impossible. Radio operators report a strange phenomenon. The storm appears to respond to large concentrations of electrical equipment. Each time humanity tries to rebuild power, the lightning finds it. It's as if the storm can hear us, as if it knows where to strike. A planetary intelligence built from the chaos of energy itself.
There's a growing fear, whispered in emergency shelters and research bunkers alike, that the magnetic field won't recover. Without it, our atmosphere will begin to erode. Solar radiation, once deflected, will pierce the upper layers of air. The planet's skin, the invisible armor that kept life alive, is bleeding charge into the storm. Some scientists have begun calling this phase the inversion, the moment when Earth's energy begins to flow upward instead of down.
Dr. Manuel Ortiz from the European Space Research Agency left a haunting final statement. The storm is not destroying energy, it's reclaiming it. Every power grid, every device, every current we've ever generated came from this planet. For centuries, we've borrowed its charge. Now, the Earth is taking it back.
We can't confirm how much longer this broadcast will last. The storm is now visible on the dark side of the moon as a faint aurora, a testament to its unimaginable power. In some regions, entire cities have been erased from orbit view, not destroyed, but invisible beneath electromagnetic haze. Civilization has entered a blackout that may last generations. And through it all, the thunder never stops.
For those who can still hear us, the world you knew is gone. The lights that once defined our civilization have been devoured by the storm they created. Humanity, for the first time, stands powerless under the sky that feeds on its own heart.
And yet, in the static, in the fading hum of broken radios, we still listen. Because somewhere beneath the noise, beneath the chaos, there's still rhythm. The pulse of a planet not dying, but changing. We are witnesses to the rebirth of power and the silence that follows it.
This is Alex Mercer, still broadcasting somehow, through the noise. What's happening above us now defies every known law of meteorology and physics. The atmosphere, our fragile, invisible shell, has become charged beyond recognition. The world's scientists once described lightning as a local event, a spark between cloud and ground. But that definition no longer fits. The sky itself has become alive, a single global circuit flickering with electric breath. All around the planet, strange lights are appearing, not lightning as we once knew it, but phenomena so rare they were once captured only by chance, sprites, crimson tendrils flashing miles above thunderheads, blue jets lancing upward into the stratosphere, and ball lightning, floating like living orbs over oceans, deserts, and shattered cities. What was once the rarest glimpse of atmospheric magic is now a permanent fixture of the night sky.
You can see it even with the naked eye, a ghostly ballet of color and plasma. The upper atmosphere glows like a cathedral of fire. Entire horizons shimmer with static light. Scientists are calling it the ion sky. The air itself has become unstable, electrified to the point that even breathing carries a faint metallic taste. Hair stands on end, shadows flicker blue. Every inhale feels like the world is humming inside your lungs. Meteorological stations that still operate off analog power confirm something extraordinary. The ionosphere has thickened, charged with unprecedented voltage. The magnetosphere, the planet's natural shield, is pulsing, spasming, twisting under the pressure. Satellites in low orbit are recording streams of light arcing from the surface to space, like the Earth itself is reaching upward, clawing at the heavens.
From orbit, astronauts, or what remains of them, describe a sight beyond comprehension. The planet is wrapped in a glowing halo, a luminous ring that circles the equator like a crown of fire. You can see the auroras now from the tropics, emerald and violet curtains dancing above jungles and deserts. The magnetosphere, once stable, now flickers like an unstable flame. It's as if Earth's heartbeat has moved from the core to the sky. Dr. Lian Wei, atmospheric physicist from the now dark Beijing Observatory, managed to send a voice log before her comms failed. The upper atmosphere is no longer acting like an insulator. It's conducting current, vast amounts of it. The boundary between Earth and space is thinning. What we're seeing isn't just weather, it's planetary transformation. Her words lingered in the static, both warning and wonder.
What's terrifying isn't just the sight, it's the sound. The air itself vibrates. Every mountain, every steel tower, every antenna hums like a tuning fork. The Earth sings a low, unending frequency, a resonance caused by billions of volts moving through the ionized sky. Pilots who survived the first wave of electrical storms call it the voice of the planet. Some describe hearing whispers inside their helmets, as if the air around them carries not just charge, but memory. In South America, shepherds report blue flames crawling across open grasslands at night. In the Sahara, glowing filaments drift across dunes like ribbons of light. Over the Pacific, sailors see columns of electricity rising straight from the ocean, twisting like tornadoes made of fire. The world has entered a constant electrical twilight.
Humanity is learning to live beneath the ion sky. With every passing hour, the electromagnetic pulse that once crippled the world now redefines it. Cities that rely on artificial power cannot survive. But smaller analog systems, wind-up radios, copper wiring, mechanical tools, are thriving. It's a strange irony. The most advanced species on Earth now survives by returning to its simplest technology. Yet, some scientists believe this is not random. Dr. Ingrid Mahel from the Scandinavian Research Union transmitted this analysis before her signal vanished. We believe the planet is stabilizing through charge redistribution. The Earth is balancing itself. The lightning is not chaos, it's regulation. The ion sky is how the planet breathes after suffocation. In her final words, she said, "If this continues, a new equilibrium may form, one in which Earth's surface becomes part of a constant electrical cycle."
Her theory has sparked new debate in underground labs and surviving research vessels. Could this be evolution, not destruction? The storm may have triggered a shift we were never meant to witness, a planet transitioning into a new magnetic age, but at what cost? The atmosphere is alive now, unpredictable and reactive. Even the smallest spark, a fire, a flare, a metallic blade, can ignite a cascade of light that stretches for miles. The air has memory, and it responds. Reports from Africa tell of a phenomenon now dubbed the electric rain. Tiny droplets carrying static charge fall from the clouds, glowing faintly as they touch the ground. They hiss on skin, dance on water, and vanish like smoke. People gather to watch them, knowing it's dangerous, yet unable to look away. For the first time in history, the storm has become part of daily life. and of awe.
The magnetosphere continues to fluctuate. Instruments that survived in deep bunkers show oscillations increasing, like the planet is gearing towards something greater. The ring of fire visible from space is growing thicker each day, spreading energy from pole to pole. It's not just a storm anymore. It's a system. The planet has rewired itself, and we're the static trapped inside it. In the ruins of the old observatories, scientists are coming together again. Not to stop the storm, but to understand it. In one of their last global communiques, a collective known as the Aurora Network wrote, "When the darkness came, humanity lost its light. But when the sky began to burn, the earth found its own. We are living under the first true ion sky."
Tonight, as we speak, the atmosphere over every continent glows like a living thing. The Earth's surface hums with invisible current. The auroras shimmer where no auroras should ever exist. And somewhere, high above the clouds, the storm watches, patient, endless, aware.
The ion sky, our new horizon. The storm no longer strikes, it breathes. The lightning no longer kills, it reminds. What began as disaster may be the birth of something beyond us. The question now is whether humanity can survive beneath its light, still broadcasting beneath the ion sky. But tonight, something new is happening. For the first time since this began, the storm isn't just above us, it's beneath us. What was once an electric storm in the clouds has reached down into the crust. The earth is striking back. The ground itself has become alive with charge. Instruments buried deep within seismic bunkers show voltage readings climbing through bedrock, climbing through fault lines, crawling through molten stone. It's as if the planet is trying to discharge itself, but there's nowhere left for the energy to go. At first, we thought they were aftershocks, ordinary earthquakes responding to the magnetic flux. But the data tells a different story. These tremors are synchronized with the lightning. Every bolt in the upper atmosphere sends a pulse down through the crust, and seconds later, the ground shudders in response. The planet has become one vast electrical circuit, current flowing from sky to core and back again.
The surface reacts like it's alive. Across the Andes, volcanoes that have been dormant for centuries are awakening. But this time, their eruptions aren't just molten rock, they're electric. Columns of red fire rise skyward, wrapped in violet arcs of plasma. Scientists call it volcanic lightning, but it's different now. Organized, rhythmic, almost patterned. Over Iceland, the entire sky flickers as geysers release superheated steam charged with blue light. From orbit, it looks like the Earth's veins are glowing. And beneath our feet, the hum has changed. Metal objects, pipes, rail lines, even buried cables vibrate in perfect harmony with the storm above. Entire cities sound like they're breathing through steel lungs. In some regions, trees are igniting without ever being touched by flame or bolt. The sap inside them superheats from induced currents, bursting into spontaneous fire. The world is burning from the inside out.
I've just received a partial recording from the remains of the European Geophysical Union, what's left of their underground team near Geneva. The transmission was short, interrupted by static, but the message was clear. The lithosphere is ionizing. The crust is behaving like a capacitor, storing charge and discharging through fault zones. We are witnessing electrodynamic tectonics. The ground is now part of the storm. Moments later, their feed went dead. It's not just earthquakes anymore. The crust is convulsing. Massive fractures are opening across the continents, glowing from within. Fissures lined with molten glass, shining like veins of lightning frozen in stone. Satellite imagery from the International Weather Array shows a lattice of light running across the planet's tectonic boundaries. It's beautiful and terrifying.
The oceans are reacting too. Beneath the Pacific, glowing filaments rise from deep trenches, plasma currents threading through the water. Fishermen who survived the first surges describe seeing light beneath the waves, like the sea itself is sparking. Some call it the underwater aurora. Others call it the blood of the storm. Marine life is fleeing to the depths, entire schools of fish, whales, and even plankton vanishing as the seas boil with electric charge. In coastal regions, the ground has begun to pulse. Seismographs detect rhythmic tremors, not random but consistent, beating like a slow drum. The planet's crust is oscillating with electromagnetic frequency. It's as if Earth's core is responding to the storm above, resonating, answering its call.
And now lightning isn't confined to the clouds anymore. It's emerging from the soil. Across deserts and plains, bolts are rising upward, from ground to sky. Inverted discharges piercing the heavens. In Siberia, a 300-meter column of light erupted from a frozen lake, carving a crater into the ice. The phenomenon lasted 11 seconds, enough to be captured by thermal satellites. Scientists call them ground arcs, but the locals, they call them Earth's scream. Everywhere, people report the same feeling. A low, vibrating resonance deep in their bones. Static crawling under their skin. Metal fences hum like violins. Car frames glow faintly blue. The world is singing in electricity. And somewhere in that chorus, it almost feels like a rhythm, a pulse, like the earth itself is trying to speak.
In the ruins of Nairobi, a surviving research collective, the Rift Watchers, made a final statement before evacuating into the Great Rift Valley. The crust is not dying, they said, it's adjusting. They believe the storm has changed the flow of magma, supercharging it with electromagnetic energy. They predict that if the process continues, volcanic plasma could become self-sustaining, a new source of energy drawn directly from the Earth's core. But if they're wrong, it could mean the entire mantle will destabilize. The ground would literally turn into lightning. Now, cracks stretch across landscapes once stable for millions of years. Africa's rift widens under sheets of electric fire. Asia's mountains glow along their spines. Even the Arctic ice groans, blue arcs crawling across glaciers like veins of light trapped in ancient ice. The storm has merged the heavens and the ground into one.
For the first time in human history, the boundaries between earth and sky are gone. We used to look up and see lightning. Now we look down and see it staring back. The world is one vast storm, electric breath above us, molten fire below. The crust shudders, the atmosphere hisses, and between them stands humanity, caught in the field, the static between creation and collapse. Scientists say the magnetic poles are weakening faster now, tilting unpredictably. Some areas experience double gravity, others none at all. The storm feeds on this instability. The stronger the quakes, the brighter the sky burns. It's a feedback loop, unstoppable, growing, alive.
And maybe this is what it always wanted to become. Not destruction, evolution. The Earth transforming into something new, something untamed. The sky and ground no longer separate forces, but one continuous organism of fire and current. The ion sky has reached the crust, and now the planet itself joins the dance. All over the world, people stand in silence, watching blue light flicker beneath their feet, knowing that the next tremor, the next flash, could be the one that changes everything.
This is Alex Mercer, and if you can still hear this transmission, then you're one of the few. The ion sky is no longer a global storm. It's become something else, something centered. For days, every compass on Earth has been spinning. Every satellite camera blinded by magnetic interference. But now, the readings have stabilized, not into calm, but into focus. The entire planet's electromagnetic field is drawing toward one point. A single vortex, forming high above the equator. They're calling it the storm heart. For the first time since this began, we can see direction, not chaos, but order. The lightning no longer lashes randomly. It spirals, perfectly aligned, like a heartbeat visible from space. It's as if every strike, every pulse, every flare was never separate, but part of a pattern too vast for us to recognize until now.
Satellite data, the little that remains, shows something breathtaking. A ring of energy forming above the planet's centerline, a swirling torus of plasma glowing blue-white. It stretches for thousands of kilometers, feeding on magnetic flux from both hemispheres. The auroras that once danced freely across the skies now bend toward this point, threading together like veins of light. From orbit, the Earth looks like a living eye staring into the cosmos. At the edge of the vortex, lightning arcs continuously, unending, connecting sea, sky, and stratosphere. It's no longer random weather, it's geometry. Scientists call it electromagnetic self-organization, but many of them admit it feels alive.
Dr. Rafael Sato, a plasma physicist from the last functioning observatory in Chile, transmitted his analysis only hours ago before the signal vanished. His voice trembled as he said, "The energy convergence is deliberate. The magnetic field is folding inward, not collapsing, but restructuring. The Earth is creating symmetry. We are witnessing the planet stabilizing through chaos, or being reborn by it." He believed that deep within the vortex lies a column of plasma so intense it touches the upper ionosphere, a vertical storm, connecting the heavens to the molten mantle below. It's not just lightning anymore. It's a conduit, a planetary circuit linking core to cosmos.
We've received unconfirmed reports from what's left of the International Space Station fragments that were caught in orbit. One of the last astronauts alive described what she saw as her capsule cross the Terminator line. The storm isn't just above Earth, it's reaching outward. Her final words before her comms went silent. It looks like it's searching for something. Below, on the surface, the effects are everywhere. The air glows perpetually. Dusk no longer falls into darkness. Every metallic surface reflects a faint blue shimmer. The oceans surge with strange tides, driven by electromagnetic waves instead of gravity. Compasses no longer point north, they point upward, toward the storm.
And now the quakes have stopped. The ground has gone eerily still. Seismographs, once screaming with motion, now register silence. Scientists think the energy has been fully drawn into the vortex, the Earth holding its breath. Every discharge, every electric pulse, every flicker of the ion sky, all converging in one colossal spiral. People across the world are witnessing what some call the Great Calm. The air hums with charge, but no lightning strikes. The clouds swirl like the eye of a hurricane, but unmoving. For the first time, the planet seems to hesitate, like it's waiting.
Broadcasts from the Aurora network confirm it. The magnetic poles have begun to drift rapidly, spiraling toward alignment with the vortex. The north and south poles are no longer opposite. They are folding toward each other. Magnetic lines are collapsing into one perfect point above the equator. This isn't just a storm, it's a unification. Dr. Ava Menendez, from the remnants of the European Electromagnetic Council, sent one final transmission, a fragment barely audible. If the poles meet, the Earth will become a singular magnetic entity, a perfect conductor. The atmosphere may ignite. Her voice cracked before static swallowed her words.
Out there, somewhere above the Amazon basin, lightning has stopped flickering. Instead, it flows upward in a continuous beam, a pillar of light connecting the ground to the heavens. The clouds spin around it, circular, worshipful. The storm no longer rages. It breathes, slowly, rhythmic, intentional. Even in this chaos, There's a strange serenity. People gather on rooftops, mountains, coastlines, staring upward in silence. Some weep, others whisper prayers. Everyone feels it. That quiet pressure in the air. That hum inside the bones. The storm has a heartbeat now, and it's synchronizing with ours.
Reports from across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific confirm what we feared, and perhaps what we were meant to see. The vortex is pulling light itself. The auroras are thinning, streams of ionized particles feeding the center. The ring glows brighter with each pulse, as if the planet is pouring everything it has into this one act. Some call it the Earth's final defense, others, its ascension.
Whatever it is, it's beautiful. The colors, impossible to describe. Every wavelength, every hue of the visible spectrum, twisting together like liquid glass. The magnetic field is bending light itself. The storm has become a prism, a living lens focused on infinity. And yet, deep down, we all sense it. The moment before something irreversible. Humanity stands under the most powerful natural phenomenon ever recorded, and all we can do is listen. The ground hums, the sky trembles, the world waits, because when a storm finds its heart, it doesn't stop. It evolves. This is Alex Mercer, still broadcasting. If you're hearing this, the silence outside isn't peace. It's the pause before release. Every sensor on Earth, magnetic, seismic, thermal, has gone flat. The entire planet's energy grid, natural and man-made, is holding its breath. For the last 3 hours, there hasn't been a single lightning strike recorded anywhere on Earth. Not one. The Superstorm, once alive with millions of discharges per second, has gone motionless. From orbit, the clouds hang in suspended rotation, a halo of stillness. Scientists are calling it 0 hour. The storm has reached saturation, a point where charge no longer escapes, but builds inward. They say this is the final phase of electrical equilibrium, or collapse. Tokyo.
I'm Tokyo, still here beside Alex. The world feels weightless. Outside the studio, the city is wrapped in a pale, shimmering haze, the residue of the ion sky. People are standing in the streets, faces lifted upward, as if waiting for something divine. The air itself feels charged, a faint metallic taste, a vibration under the skin. It's like the atmosphere is no longer air, but anticipation. Across the globe, every power grid that still functioned has gone dark again, but this time not from damage. It's as if the planet is pulling electricity back into itself. Generators fail not because they're broken, but because there's nothing left to draw from. The Earth has become its own circuit.
Minutes ago, one of the last functioning satellites, call sign Aurora 9, transmitted its final image before its sensors overloaded. It showed the storm heart no longer glowing in chaotic flashes, but pulsing. Each pulse radiated across the planet, visible in the ionosphere as waves of light moving faster than any storm ever recorded. But then, the pulses began to slow. Now, there's only one, a single rhythm beating once every few seconds, steady as a human heart. It's as if the storm has synchronized with the planet itself, and we're all part of that pulse.
There are voices too, digital remnants, fragments of data carried through the static. Engineers say it's interference. Others swear it's resonance, frequencies shaped by the electromagnetic field itself. Some of these tones mimic human speech. They rise and fall in patterns, like whispers woven into the static. One recording from a deep-sea cable near the Indian Ocean captured what sounds like a phrase, repeated again and again. The arc is near. Nobody knows if it's real or if our instruments are simply echoing their own decay.
In the scientific world, the theory now being whispered, carefully, quietly, is called the planetary arc hypothesis. It suggests that when magnetic poles meet and unify, the resulting current will discharge not laterally, but vertically. A single bolt, larger than anything imaginable, connecting the Earth's core directly to its upper atmosphere. If that happens, it will be the most powerful electrical event since the planet's creation. And what happens after that? No one knows.
Out in the field, people are seeing signs. Animals have gone silent. Birds perch in perfect stillness. Even the wind has stopped. The clouds above the equator now glow faintly, not white but violet, like trapped lightning folded inside silk. Witnesses in South America describe seeing arcs of light crawling across the ground, not striking, just gliding like serpents. Everywhere people are gathering in silence, not out of fear anymore, but awe. It's as though we all sense it, something ancient, vast and inevitable, stirring in the deep current of the world.
Right now, electromagnetic instruments at the remaining observatories show a buildup of charge in the upper atmosphere, increasing exponentially. Every model ends with the same prediction. Once it reaches critical density, the field will collapse inward and release everything it's gathered in one moment. That release is what scientists fear, and what others call the arc. Somewhere high above us, the ionosphere glows like molten glass. Below, the ground hums softly, vibrating like the string of a colossal instrument. Between them, tension. Perfect, unbearable tension.
Alex, the lights are flickering, not the power lights, the air. Tiny threads of electricity are forming in the studio between the mics, the metal, even the air molecules themselves. Listeners, if you can still hear us, stay away from large conductors. Stay low, stay grounded. We don't know when it will happen, but when it does, it'll be faster than thought. The sound will come after.
If this is the end of the storm, or the beginning of something new, we'll find out soon enough. The last readings show the magnetic field collapsing inward. Total convergence in less than 10 minutes. After that, no one can say. No one ever could. So we'll keep the signal alive for as long as we can, until the world arcs.
The air outside just lit up, pale white, no thunder, just light. It's starting, Alex.
Then, let's bear witness. This is Alex Mercer and Tokyo, signing off.